What's up, you guys? Welcome to the January 15th edition of NBA 3-Ball presented by Establish the Run. I'm your host, Mike Gallagher, getting ready to talk some NBA action today and some news. 10 minutes as usual. Hit the thumbs up for us, please, and go ahead and subscribe. Let's talk some news and talk some Memphis Grizzlies. Surprising good news with Ja Morant now questionable to play on Friday against the Wolves. Great, surprising news. Was supposed to miss more time. We saw him dunking last week, and he was kind of talking himself up a little bit, so here you go. We may get a guy who had perhaps more buzz than not many other players, at least point guards, coming into the preseason. Just an insanely strong preseason. He led the seeding games in potential assists. Talk about that all the time. His drives are up. His paint shots are way up in the preseason. So, I mean, that's just fantastic news. And then your next question is, Tyus Jones is going to obviously take a big hit, but do you cut him? Probably answer is yes. He only had 79 minutes with Ja Morant all of last season, just 2 minutes so far in 3 games. But Taylor Jenkins really talked him up for how he handled the ball while Morant was out. And I mean, do you want to bring another ball handler out there to help Morant? I think you kind of would, especially with Tyus. His defense has been pretty good, which Jenkins talked about as well. So I think he can possibly earn playing time. So, don't cut him yet. Kind of see if that could kind of work out, especially in this matchup if we do see Ja on Friday. And then also we had some Grizzlies news with Jaren Jackson Jr. Not really news, kind of just reading between the lines. He had an interview with ESPN's Mark Spears, and he said that he has a timetable that's, quote, not that far, and it will probably sneak up on you. He said, I'll be back this season, but who knows when. It won't be too long. He said also that when he found out about the recovery plan, kind of paraphrasing that, he said he was mad about it. And then later he said he kind of isn't mad about it, quote, because I don't want to be having these problems later. So that makes me feel like we still got at least a couple of weeks on Jaren Jackson, because he may have a plan coming back because they just want to make sure he's healthy, and they don't want to have all these knee injuries later in his career. Obviously, Jaren Jackson's one of their franchise cornerstones with Morant, so they really want to make sure that he's out there and playing his best. So actually, Xavier Tillman's been playing great, and Taylor Jenkins really liked how he defended Cat in the previous game, so he's kind of sneaky, and then Brandon Clark's playing a lot better too, so he may have a little bit longer run after having pretty decent fantasy value after a kind of rough start. Moving to the Wolves, who play the Grizzlies, they are not going to have Ricky Rubio and Juancho Hernangomez for protocols, so Jordan McLaughlin will take Ricky Rubio's minutes, probably not all of them, but a pretty good amount of them, while D'Angelo may have a little bit more leash. Ryan Saunders said that he may have played D'Lo and Cat a little too much on Wednesday, and the guys were really tired at the end of the Wednesday game when they blew the lead. And he also said he's working on new combos with Cat back now. And obviously the first thing you think of without Juancho is who starts. And I think it makes a lot of sense to be Jared Vanderbilt, because Saunders loves his rim protection, which has been an issue for them. And he puts pressure on the rim on offense, he says. And he said that the team, quote, plain and simple, needs to be more physical. And I mean, Jared Vanderbilt can be a physical guy. Playing bigger against Brandon Clark makes a whole lot of sense to me. So this is a very big-time opportunity for Jared Vanderbilt, possible Wally Pipp situation for a guy who went from, backup third-string point guard, third-string power forward, third-string center, and now he's got a chance to possibly unseat Juancho if he plays really well in a matchup they're going to really need him. So definitely all eyes on Jared Vanderbilt. I would pick him up if I'm playing season long and see what happens. Let's talk some Thursday basketball. And he couldn't hang on again with their short-handed roster, 8-man rotation again, pretty similar. Tyler Hero had, quote, spasms. Spo didn't say back, he just said spasms. That's why he didn't play. So hopefully it's minor. And he really talked up Gabe Vincent. He said that he's a plug-and-play guy, and he played really well when they needed him to. Precious Achiuwa continues to play great. Kelly Olynyk established himself as a guy that they need in this rotation, and we'll see what happens if they can get guys back. Eric Spoelstra said he had kind of no idea if they're going to be able to play on Saturday. To the Sixers, who put up 125 in a win with just 19 points combined from Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. Doc Rivers said this is how they wanted to play with Ben and how teams were covering him with the 12 assists and distributing. We've known for months now that he wants to be the primary facilitator to this offense. And man, Tyrese Maxey getting the start here, even with Shake Milton back. Shake continues to play great in that 6-man role. So that makes you think that they like Shake off the bench. And they have to probably bring Seth Curry back into starting unit when he's back, so that'll cut into Maxey. But I mean, he's playing so well that like you have to kind of keep him on your roster unless there's somebody that's irresistible on the waiver wire or something like that. But he's been playing great. Isaiah Joe has been playing really well. And Rivers said after the game, there's never complications when guys are playing well. When he was asked about how Furkan Korkmaz can affect Isaiah Joe, so this team's got a lot of depth, a lot of shooters, and I mean, props to Daryl Morey. Hornets played really well in Tampa Bay against the Raptors without Gordon Hayward, who was probable today and suddenly doubtful and did not play. They aren't concerned. It's day-to-day. It sounds like he should be back the next time. I don't know why they listed him probable. That was odd for a hip strain the day before, so go figure with that. And Caleb Martin got the start. Wasn't really good. He is the offensive brother. Well, Cody Martin was kind of out of the rotation, just 6 minutes from him. LaMelo Ball, business as usual. Rebounding great. Defensive stats are awesome. Has a knack for the ball, as Borrego said, and he's continuing to find playing time regardless of his role. Probably going to stick off the bench. P.J. Washington really playing well, and after the game, Borrego was talking about how they're playing small so much, and he said that they're going to play small a lot, and they just have to be more physical. They rebounded pretty well, so they're definitely comfortable playing P.J. Washington at the 5. I mentioned he guarded Boban in a previous matchup, so they don't care how big he is, or his opponent is, they're going to play him there. So yeah, it's good stuff from him. And also Malik Monk cracked the rotation, and Borrego said he played great and he stayed ready. So don't forget, Mitch Kupchak last year said that he's probably the most talented player on the team. So he had a really rough offseason for a litany of reasons, but maybe he could find some playing time. Moving to the Raptors, and Chris Mother Effin Boucher, 25 and 10, 2 blocks, a steal, 2 assists, 2 threes, 8 free throws, just crushed inside. This Hornets team is really vulnerable to big men who with skill, which we've seen a lot. But yeah, this is what we've been saying. Nick Nurse doesn't want to play 3 bigs anymore. He wants to play a little bit of Boucher, maybe start with Baines or Len. Len didn't play today for personal reasons. And then mix in Boucher with that Pascal OG power forward center combo. And like Boucher is just icing out Baines and Alex Len. He's getting minutes consistently now. It's on. It feels like everything's kind of coming together for him because he's just playing so freaking well. And maybe he'll fall off a little bit, but you got to feel great about that. Stanley Johnson continues to put a dent in the Norm. Norm's really tough to trust right now. Yudi even has been playing well. And Pascal and OG feel like they're getting back in the groove after kind of a rough start, especially for Pascal. Pascal looks really comfortable again. The best quote of the day would go to Mr. Christian Wood because he called Shaq a casual. Yeah, you rock, Christian Wood, if I couldn't like you anymore. But insanely hot first half. Still had a pretty strong second half to get a big win here without James Harden. And he talked about how this team's so motivated, and it was great to see. Obviously, there was no Eric Gordon, no John Wall, no Oladipo. So we saw, interestingly, Jason Tate, 10 assists. This guy's got skill, man. Big body guy. Gets the PJ Tucker comps because he's like a linebacker out there. But this dude's got a lot of skill. It's going to be tough for him to be valuable once John Wall really gets his hands on the offense. And obviously Gordon as well. But kind of just keep an eye on him. If Tucker does get dealt, which seems likely because if they're trading for picks, Tucker's on an expiring deal, you think he would get traded. And also 5.5 minutes of overlap for DeMarcus Cousins and Wood after just 0.7 minutes combined. Obviously they were shorthanded, but still a good sign for Cousins. Not much to say for the Spurs besides Keldon, baby. Career high 29. Lonnie Walker hurt his wrist, but he said he's going to be okay. DeMar DeRozan returned. This team's pretty fun. Wrapping it up with the bad news of the night, Jusuf Nurkic fractured his wrist. He's going to miss time. If he has surgery, it'll be 32 games about, according to Jeff Stotts of In Street Clothes. If no surgery, 16 games. So you're talking at least a month, possibly multiple months, depending on the treatment route. Just horrible blow for a guy that's had just terrible luck. We're going to see more minutes for Harry Giles and his Cantor to handle the bulk of the minutes. We'll see him go small, but Cantor is probably going to be decent. If your league's competitive, add Harry Giles. He had one of the most impressive preseasons of any big man. He's talented. He's one of the best high school prospects before he got hurt all the time with the Kings. Stotts knows how to use him, I think. So I would be really pumped to add him. I actually dropped Tyus Jones in one of my leagues just now to do that, to see what Harry Giles can do. I want to see what happens. And also, Robert Covington's a winner here. Stotts was saying that he wanted to use him as a roll man more, so they wanted to go small even before Nurk got hurt in the Raptors game. So I think this could kind of get Rocco some new life to find opportunity and shots, and most importantly, really shot blocking. He was a much better shot blocker when he played the 5 with Houston. So good spot for him. And it's rough for the Blazers. Maybe they're in the trade market now. They were playing so well. This is a really bad loss for them. So that's going to do it. You guys take care, and we'll catch you next time.